The race for #1 in the world is underway. Welcome back to the Age of Empires for Action, folks. We are live from the ladder to see who is going to be snatching that first place on the leaderboards as we get ever closer to the end of season. In the orange, he's a worm. At least that's what the Age of Mythology scene told us. It's Beastie playing as the Ottomans, going up against Anatan in the blue on the Abbasids. Yeah, so, you know, we're all familiar with these two by now, right? Anatan has been rising through the ranks over the last year. He's really made a name for himself. Beastie may be one of the most charismatic worms we've ever encountered in the history of I saw the video, man. I couldn't help but laugh. Beastie has been a little bit split on his attention, and while the king was away, tending to not just real-life endeavors, but also the breeding of minotaurs, a certain usurper snuck in. Anatan currently is #1 in the world, and he is looking to defend that title. And he already extended his lead by 50 elo, guys, because Beastie apparently crashed in the last game, which means one of them gained, I think, 21 elo, the other lost 20. So already a bigger difference. In fact, the time recording, let me have a look at this. I'm pretty sure there's a 60 elo difference. Yeah, Anatan is a 2-3-2-1 elo, and Beastie is behind him by 50 elo at 2270. So Anatan has played a lot more games. The interesting one actually is that Louis has fallen off a bit. He's at 2252 just behind Beastie, but Louis hasn't played in 6 days. So not sure what happened there, because the original narrative about a week ago was between Louis and Anatan. Love this Eco Wing play. Guys, this is the new meta. Okay, get used to it. Military Wing is dead. Long live the Eco Wing. I just don't see any point in Military Wing anymore. Military Wing is just so much better if you go into Castle, right? Because you get the Desert Raiders, you get the Camel Riders. I have too many camels, man. Camel Riders, which are really good up against any sort of Sipahi shenanigans, works really well against the initial Lancers. Sure, you'll get countered eventually by Janissaries, but you're only getting 2 of them, right? So it's the opening moves that matter. Other side, it's going to be Sultanate Trade Network, which is indicative of a fast castle build. Makes a lot of sense. We have seen 2 TC play to counter the Abbasids from Ottomans, but I think it's better to go castle first and then TC later in this situation. If it was Military Wing, I actually like the idea of Ottoman 2 TC, but against Eco Wing, the Abbasids will just go 3 TC if you go 2. So you'll always lose out because of that. Oh, should we put predictions up? You little gambaholics. I know you love that. I'm going to make it really short, only a minute, because we are already... Actually, I'll give you 2 minutes. Boom. So, looking at the TC placement opportunities. Anatan's probably going to look to drop this town center on the 4 deer. I think the timing's aligned for it. Might be a bit tight if there's a stables drop, but if it's just passive production, you should be fine. That being said, actually, there are already spearmen, right? So the spearmen might force Anatan to just commit the TC onto the gold and the tree line. The alternative is you drop it on the stone here if you want to go free TC. Free TC against 1 feels really greedy, though. There will be a window to kill you for Ottomans if you do that. Fertile Crescent, now already on the way. I wonder if we're ever going to see players actively doing the trade. The issue is, on this map, it's not really worth it for the distance. You need a marketplace. But there have been maps where I've kind of scratched my head. I've seen like they have maximum distance almost, and they don't actively trade. This one you can forgive on, though. On top of that, you're against the Abbasids that potentially add in camel archers, so you don't want to have exposed eco. I think we should just be seeing a pivot over to Sipahi. Instead, it's still on spears. Stone gathering underway. Okay, so it is going to be 2 TC from Beastie, right? Because that's a lot of stone gathering. And that means that Anatan can go free TC. He's immediately going to have to react to the first spearman blocking him here. Yeah, so... I guess the justification for Beastie here is he gets to wherever he wants. Right? Because Anatan is now hunkering down. You can just drop a TC here. Which, by the way, is an outrageous spawn. Deer and berries right next to each other. The dream. Remember, berries, like, while not perfect, is extra food safely near your TC. There's no ball play to be had for Ottomans. They don't benefit from that. The reason that's important is because when you play Fertile Crescent, farm transitions are easy for Abbasids. But boom, here we go. Going for an extra TC. Those are Dark Age Spearmen, by the way, folks. And there is a TC in range, so you can't do anything here. Yeah, I love the micro. Just basically take the injured back to the tree line, and they are now also your garrison force. So what was the plan now for Beastie? Because we said why 2TC makes sense against Abbasid's non-eco wing, and we've also shown why it doesn't work against free. Because the issue now is for Beastie, he's going to build a second TC. He's going to spend 100 food every 20 seconds. But on free TC, Anatan is still going to spend less than him. And this is where Fertile Crescent starts to get really scary, by the way. The discount just saves you so much. You're almost saving enough that you've created an environment where you got a TC for free, right? Because he's now saved 70% in total across his TC building. So third one now going up. Spearman's going to be a little bit annoying, but one spear here is not going to be good enough. And I imagine we're going to see a hunker down by both players into castle. Because the issue for Beastie is he hasn't been scaling military schools. He hasn't added in active production. So trying to build a big enough army to breach the base now feels very difficult because Anatan has kept his town centers close together. If he built his town center out here, for example, Beastie could have just gone into mass feudal and pressed that. But diving into the main base is going to be very difficult for multiple reasons. For a start, all defenses will be located in one location. The other really big issue you have here is the fire armor. Fire armor is obnoxious. Minimizes the damage you're able to do because in Age 2, your unit's doing 13 torch damage. Reduction by 5. Golden Age coming in. What's Beastie gone for? Yeah, he went Anatolian Hills. So, once again, Anatan, another game where I think he was able to get the sheep haul in his favor. Kind of to be expected because you gather on the berries first instead of going straight to the sheep. But also, Ottomans just not really changing the skin here. They always do Anatolian Hills. I feel like 85 to 90% of games is Anatolian Hills first. Actually, even higher when you're on land maps. It's just too good. Getting an extra 2,000 food underneath your TC really does make the difference. And it also enables you to do things like fast castling or mass Sipahiing, whereas otherwise they wouldn't feel as easily doable unless you got an insane cheap RNG. How do you guys vote in the end? Oh, 74% for Beastie. Whoa! 24% believe in Anatan, not bad. I think Anno has a decent shot here. I like Abbasid for this. If the game goes deep enough, I think Ottomans are going to naturally be favored, right? You're thinking about things like the Great Bombards. You're thinking about Janissaries plus Sipahi. There's not really many answers for Anno. You could potentially try Camel Riders, but I feel like if you're in the true late game state, that's going to fall flat. Camel Riders a little bit earlier than true late game could be intriguing, though. Wait, 4 TC? Okay, now we've entered a whole new realm of greed. Oh my god. I can't believe he's going a 4th. That's wild. Still, really cheap, right? We talked about the fact that once you build 3 TCs, you've got that one for free, right? Because by building 4 TCs with Fertile Crescent, you've paid less than you would for free TC. Because the 35% saving per town center. So you're 105% savings from building into an extra free TCs. On top of that, fresh foodstuffs. He's spending 128 food to produce 4 villages every 20 seconds. Insanely cost efficient if you at least secure additional food sources, which he has done with this one onto the berries. Walls are starting to go up from both players, so it looks like we're carving up the map. Things are going to go later. This, by the way, is the map I'm looking most forward to for POP, for server Season 9, rather. We're on Season 8 with this one, but once you go Season 9, they're going to be nerfing the build speed on walls from 4 seconds to 8 seconds. And I think Gorge is going to become so much more interesting because of that. Because now, Gorge has 2 states of play. All-ins, where there's no walls at all, or mid-late games where walling happens all the way across the map. Remember, the Imperial Army is now coming in. Anatan is going to start stockpiling quite quickly. We've seen him adding some spears and camel archers. Makes sense. Camel archers are a really good way to hold from Age 2 when up against Castle Age. Because if your opponent goes men arms, you counter. If you go lances, you've already got spears, and then you've got camel archers to make the fight easier. That's why you are attempting to dive in, but I love the fact that Anatan just kind of spreads his spearmen out one by one, understanding that, like, because of the greed, Beastie can't have a big army. So one of the villagers might get picked here. His Fortitude did get activated. Oh, he has to give up. So not even a single eco kill. And guys, that lead is building fast. 16 villagers ahead for Anatan. Look at the camel archer queue. Nah, guys, I stand by my statement. Camel archers are broken. You're going to see it in this game as well. Like, it's crazy to do this against Sipahi. But at the same time, you know, without farm economy, do you really want to be scaling mass Sipahi actively? No. You'd rather just go Lancers. And Lancers trade worse against Camel Archers. For a start, you don't take bonus damage, so you actually remove 20% of the damage you take. And Knights hit for about 24 base in this. So it's better to be on Sipahi where you lose less damage overall and have a quicker attack speed. So Camel Archers forcing him to go Sipahi is tricky because his economy isn't going to be able to get away with this for long. Also, on top of that, if your opponent's going Sipahi, Spearmen are the perfect solution. So, I think Beastie... You don't want to go Janissaries here. That feels rough. You need to find archers. And it looks like he's queuing them up now. So archers are going to be on the way, but this is buying time. Anatan is getting that bulk together. We're at 8 camel archers currently. Once he's at, I'd say, about 15, he can look to tech. More walls being attempted here. Not going to work out, though. Beastie is using this tech advantage, by the way. He's going for relics. On top of that, we do have the military school spam. So 5 military schools. So remember, Mehmed Imperial Armory also produces units. What's the score so far? So they've queued into each other once. Anatan got a win. Looked like Beastie had a crash. So technically Anatan is up. Might be about to witness his first real victory here. Undermesh coming in. Nice blocker against the Imam. The Sipahi count isn't big enough yet. The veterancy did just come in. But there's a lot of respect being shown for good reason. Look at the eco state. It's a 30 villager lead now for Anatan. And the farms are getting added in. Remember, those are much cheaper for him. Eventually, this is a farm transition that BC's also going to have to consider. But it's going to be nowhere near as cheap for him. Love that Anatan isn't just hunkering down and doing the farms only. He's trying to use these flank resources still. Tango. Whoop. Not going to find a good opening wall up there. I think Beastie's goal now is to kind of lock this in to a longer game. Abbasids are very strong in Imperial Age, but Ottomans are from a militaristic perspective. So far, Anatan is doing a really good job of blocking the more closely positioned relics here. This wall-in is also going to block Beastie from trying to claim those. So, despite the fact that Beastie has had a huge Castle Age timing lead, Anatan is likely to be the one with the majority of relics here. Bumper on the walls. Hello, Bearmorph. Now, that's a double-edged sword, as I've learned, though, mate. We may be able to live spectate, but that also means content can't be protected. So if you pay for a tournament, someone else can come and cast it without permission. Double-edged sword. What's going on? I actually think this is a trap. Oh my god, Akbar it up. It's a top. The spin coming. Beastie. He's not going to make it out. Stabs just in time there. Are you kidding me? Anatan, the charge in, actually ruined him there. The line formation not quite skirting north enough there to stop the Sipahi from getting out. That was huge. Remember, these guys are not cheap. 160 resources each. So Beastie able to dodge death in an important situation there, as that was a lot of his front line. So we'll be able to back off into home territory. Military wing now on the way for Anatan. I know. Yeah, I agree. Gulums would be a good way to go. Janissaries are starting to get added in. Is there anything other than Gulums you could do? Actually, like, Spear Archer is probably more cost efficient than going Gulums because of composite bows, right? You have that tech. Because Janissaries are coming in, Camel Riders wouldn't make much sense, even though they're really good against Sipahi. Because they get the double damage, right? 28 damage per strike on an attack speed that's quicker than Sipahi. Basically, Sipahi would only be able to compete with that attack speed if they activated the Fortitude and took more damage. I.e., not worth doing. Oh, truth, I know. In the H3 now. Immediately queues up the Fitted Leatherworks, and it is going to be the Gulums. Love that Beastie's already anticipating this, though. He has his own Fitted Leatherwork on the way. Remember, the melee defenses are doubly effective against Gulums because they strike twice. Anatan already having to prep those Springles because the double Mango now creep is coming. Remember, these were built free by the Imperial Armory. Nice thing, though, is you don't have to invest in a Siege Workshop when you play as the Abbas. A little bit bold on the positioning here. Luckily, he will have the Springle just before the Mangoes would gain range. All is about to break, though. Needs more Gulums. Veterancy is on the way for the Camels. Springle backs up just in time. The brace does come out. Sipahi over eager here. Shot comes in, though. Springle is down. And that means he needs to kite. Into the choke point he goes. Needs to leave the Spim and the Gulum behind to hold this back. The Sipahi can easily be beaten over time here. 5 ranged armor, but the Camel Archers about to get juiced up. 14 seconds away. This is big. Beastie, the army is bloated. He has the veteran season. That's the mistake. But Anatan, he doesn't have that yet. That's another reason why he's gone into mass Gulums, but it might be enough to push this back. 12 in the field. Another 6 to Sprog out in a second. And the veteran season now in. Boot camp about to complete in 5 seconds. And the Camel Archers should be able to now commit. Gulums begin to wrap around. It looks like Beastie's first wave is going to be pushed back. In fact, he's at risk of getting ran down here. Remember, the Archers cannot retreat away from this easily. Love the fact he went into the meta form with a melee just to get the double resistance against the Gulum, but it's not going to be enough. Siege gets mopped up. Anatan is undented. He has over a 50 villager lead here. And Beastie is now in trouble. The production pump is ridiculous here. He's trying to queue up the crossbows, but look at the difference. 25 Gulum on the way. Oh my god. Patience from Anatan paying off here. Quadruple TC is proving worth it now. He is maxed out on villages at 18 minutes into the game. It's going to be a temp reset here as Anatan has to slow down a little bit. Gulum numbers aren't quite there yet. The second wave is arriving. But even if he has to start adding in archers, that is also going to favor him the composite bows. Camels start to get struck here. Janissaries is trying to snipe them down. Star Step does look good. Remember, this is not the Ayyubid, so you don't get that movement speed off you kill a unit, but whenever he has to stand ground like this is rough. And it looks like the meta with the armor was taken down, so he's on attack speed now, which means he can't stand here anymore. The Janissaries are also not pulling back. So Beastie is going to once again be shoved behind his walls. Mangoless for it. Kind of a rough one here. I think Beastie is getting ready for attack, but a scary point to try it here, guys. It's 22 Gulums. You don't have many Janissaries or crossbows to defend this. Going imp in a rush could flatline Beastie. And I think that's why you're seeing him now add in additional production. I do want to see Anatan stop building Camel Archers here, though. The Janissary count is killing him. It's weird as well because Janissaries, and this is really, really weird to process, guys. Janissaries may counter Camel Archers, but Camel Archers counter Janissary. What I mean by that, you're seeing that right there. It's double damage against light gunpowder infantry, of which Janissaries are light gunpowder infantry. So, bit of a weird one. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, but they also then take the extra 50% damage. So that means a Camel Archer hits you for about 45 damage. No, that can't be right. Mathematically, I think the bonus damage received doesn't affect bonus damage, if that makes sense. So it would be base damage increased by 50%. Anatan on the way. He's giving the culture wing. So they are both heading into the last stage. Camel handling is being prepped here. Gooms, in the meantime, are marching the backside, and they are going to find these farms. Because wait, what? Oh, Anatan, you snake. He crept outposts out here. And villagers are in trouble now. Textiles is cool, but not good enough. The Gullums will take advantage of this. Love the way he splits up as well. Sure, tech up complete, but Beastie is going to be weak on villager count now. Tries to run away, but the idle time also just paying at the start of the age. Culture Wing is coming in 35 seconds. Remember, with the preservation of knowledge, a lot of these techs become that much more affordable. Could I remove the delay for ladder matches? Oh, yeah. Sorry. I don't want to impede Crackly. Let me just phone my uncle who works at Microsoft. He'll get on it. It'll be done in 10 minutes. Man, look at the way Anatan's spreading the map, though. Not many units left live, but he understands that at this stage, Beastie is playing wide because that's where the gold is. That's the weakness of Gorge, is in the mid-game, you have to go wide. You don't have any other access choice for gold. Really done. Another wave coming as Camel Archer's on the way here. With the Camel handling, these guys are race cars. 1.87 movement speed, and also the worst time to go back onto the gold. That's going to be losses for Beastie. He's not even reacting to it straight away. He's too busy reacting to the ping up here on the farms. Beastie, no. No. He doesn't know. Look at the pings right now. He's not getting any. Finally it comes through, but too little too late. They're all going to die. Maybe a handful get away, but the damage is done. That is a double up in villager count for Anatan. Things are about to get worse for Beastie. Camel handling was good, but Camel support will be just as effective here. The Ghulams are going to get extra armor in these engagements, +2 in fact. Now I wonder, do we have public libraries? Nah, we're going to ignore that. Kind of interesting that he still didn't get preservation of knowledge. He has, however, got elite army tactics on the way. Remember, Ghulams are very pop efficient in the late game, a premium men at arms. Keep going up as well. I don't think BC's going to be able to stop that, even if he dives in. Now, funnily enough, a public library, no one would die here, but this will still be enough to hold. A few villages are going to go down, but when you're up at 160 eco, losing a few villages is actually helpful. Man, Anatan is playing so well in this game. And this is getting suffocating. We've got another keep drop. Double siege workshop. This is tricky. It's about the military schools. We know how ridiculous the observatory is in Age 4 for the Ottomans. It increases their production speed on military schools. They get a lot of free units. So what's the counter? Set up a proxy base and siege it down. Probably going to be Bombards. Could actually even be Trebs. Speaking of Bombards, first Great Bombard is almost out. I think this is why he's still going Camel Archers, right? It's like you can't get a good strike with a Great Bombard that way. Ghulams will be somewhat affected, but with 310 HP, I don't think they care about one bomb. You're going to need 3 or 4. Incendiary Arrows is now on the way for Beastie. Cold Starvation is going to be real here. Outposts are coming up, and he's rush repairing it because there's a cannon emplacement on the way. Oh, man. Anatan is vibing right now. You can feel it. Crossbows are on the way to try and deal with this, but I think he should be able to hold it long enough, right? No, he has to bail. Unfortunate timing there. That means Anatan, unless he rush repairs now, it's going to be a wasted effort. In fact, he needs to cancel that cannon emplacement. Luckily, good guy Beastie does it for him. Still, he knows where to target now, right? It's a defend on the gold. If Beastie can't access the gold, he can't actively produce anything. Look at that armor, guys. 10 melee armor, 10 ranged armor. Reminder that Janissaries have lower damage than standard hand cannoneers, so almost half their damage is being mitigated by the armor alone. Oy, oy, oy. Cool thing about this as well is unless BC target fires, the Camel Archers are going to be the last thing to die. So have we got the siege coming out yet? Okay, it's going to be Culverin's first, so he's looking to address the Great Bombards, and now it looks like he's going to follow up to deal with the buildings. Chem is also on the way, so the chemistry make it a lot easier to bring down these Great Bombards that do not have siege works. Good lord. And just kind of playing a cannon fodder game for a lot of this, right? Still surprised. I think he totally forgot about preservation of knowledge. I also think medical centers is worth it when you get full keeps like this. These outpost rules are so ridiculous. Once again, though, losing a few villages is not bad when Anatan's floating this much resource in reserve. He needs more military presence. That's the risk against Ottomans, is Ottomans are really good in IM at building up a ridiculous army size off of passive production. The weakness is if they then get that army wiped too quickly. Guillem's now stabbing in on this. Bombards are sniping into the military schools, so that passive reduction advantage is going to start to shrink, which is why Beastie needs to strike while he's got the full pop cap. Is he going to try to... You can't end the game here. That doesn't work. Not one great Bombard. If you had 3 or 4, you could try to force this. But remember, most of his army is ranged units. And by most, I mean basically 75%. So this doesn't work. You don't have a way of killing the landmark quick enough. In fact, instead, these Bombards could kill your buildings faster. Killem's once again hitting that back eco. More farms getting shut down as well. Beastie's not moving the main army, which kind of concerns me. He's idling up here in an awkward position. Great Bombard is going to start to try and break open the base. But this is allowing Anatan to now prep the real quality army. Hand cannon is on the way. Kind of tricky as well. I mean, Janissary are pretty good, but they have the limitations. The Culverin. Beastie didn't know us. Okay, that is a vile snipe. He's so out of position here. I can't believe he just got away with that on both. Okay, that's just BMing. He deletes them. It's like, no. I just want you to know that anything that dies is because I want it to die. Oh, absolutely fantastic. Meanwhile, military schools are all dead. This one Bombard is winning the game. Oh my god, he's going to win the game even more. The Ghoulam and the Great Bombard get the kill! I can't believe this. Beastie's entire plan is being unraveled by a single Bombard. There's no backup after this, man. He doesn't have the military schools online, and now Anatan will commit to the fight. Knowing that if he wipes this, the reboom is not going to be easy. Maybe not even possible for Beastie here. Archer's targeting onto the hand cannoneers. Camel support's making it so difficult with that +2 extra armor, though. They have 5 ranged armor against these archers. That's a mop-up. Beastie has nothing left to forward with here. Behind this, the military schools have not been rebuilt, and that is it! GG gets called. The biggest Bombard warrior is right here. One siege weapon wins the entire game.